3, 2, 1.
Yo, we got your back when you driving to work or driving home. If you on a plane or you at the gym or you home alone, all you gotta do to listen to the shows, turn on your phone. Two Ugly Nerds podcast, tell you what's going on. This is the podcast.
Eric is ugly and would not judge anybody else.
There's no other insult.
When did you learn that you were
Two Ugly Nerds podcast.
Welcome to the
What's going on, guys? Welcome to the Two Nerds podcast, niggas from the Black Nerd community. I am your host, Dick the Podcast Guy. Always joined by Ian Berserk Music, audio engineer / super producer, the father dad himself. Ian loves cutting me off before I get to the father dad himself. Every time he want to say what's up before I get to the father dad. I noticed this shit. It's only because I just did 4 episodes back to back, but I noticed it every single time right before I get to the father dad. Ian be like, what's up? I forgot. Like, nigga, I say the same shit every week.
Man, it's the anticipation. Like I'm like, what am I gonna say? Am I gonna say what's going on? What am I gonna do? What am I gonna hit with? And then
You don't spend your whole day thinking about it and preparing and
no,
Greetings, fellow Earthlings.
literally the few seconds you give me is the time I have.
It's right here, right when by the time I start saying what's going on, then it's pressure's on.
Yeah, like,
Ticking clock.
yeah.
And you first. You no.
Yep.
Look at Draw got all the extra time right now.
I'm got over here cooking.
Draw like wait. I'm about to smoke my intro.
That's what you gave him? All right.
Ian over here fumbling. I'm about to smoke my intro. Wait
I'm
till
about
they
to
get
end
to me.
everyone's whole career.
Oh man.
Also, always joined by Geronimo, Mr. Nintendo, our resident pro streamer, the console consultant.
Let me tell you, we've been consulting some consoles over here, bro. We've actually been on the Switch probably a lot this week. Backlog, they put out Fall Guys on it. They put out this Ubisoft game that they ain't telling anybody is out called Roller Champions.
Oh, yeah.
It's out on everything though. It's pretty cool. It's like it's like roller derby. It's like roller derby and Rocket League put together, and you can like roller skate up walls and shit. It's actually kind of dope, but the game might die in 6 months, if 3 months. But yeah, man, what's popping?
She was good.
Word. All right, man. We are going to get going quick today, jumping right into technically,
This is related, but not really.
Oh,
I'm just gonna.
what are we doing
here? For those of you who do not know, Roe v. Wade has been overturned by the Supreme Court. And what that means is your right to an abortion or things related to it, a lot of things related to it that I'm not going to even get into, but it's ridiculous. It's not protected federally anymore. It's now
up to the states.
Yeah,
state mandated.
Status now state mandated. So there are a list of states that have already got things in place to ban abortions in those states. And a couple of companies have taken to support those who would like to go about getting an abortion, even if they're in a state that will eventually not support it. You got a list here, Google being one of them, who said they would tells employees that they can relocate without justification in the event that they live somewhere that doesn't support it. And they will be supported financially for that procedure. Amongst that is Amazon, who said they would cover up to $4,000 in travel expenses for medical treatments, including abortion. Let me see here. We got JP Morgan, Tesla, Walt Disney.
JP Morgan.
Yeah, JP
Morgan. Letter Morgan.
Snap, which is apparently Snapchat. Meta, which is formerly Facebook, Yelp, Citigroup, Goldman Sachs. It's a nice list of Discord as well, Pinterest, Dell. I'm surprised I'm not seeing Apple up here, but I'm sure that is interesting.
Curious.
But yeah,
maybe it's a not yet thing. Maybe they want to announce what they're gonna do.
Press release on Monday or whatever.
And you know, Apple, they're gonna make a big deal out of it probably, and
man, they're gonna
support our.
They're gonna put an image on Twitter and that's it with text in it.
No, they'll probably do a whole little announcement video about what they're doing.
Yeah, they might just do it.
Like you might think they're releasing new tech.
Yeah, exactly. They might do it that way. Send you an alert if you're in a state that doesn't support it.
I'm telling you,
that's something. Well, y'all gotta let me know.
We'll see.
Yeah,
we'll see. I mean, it's kind of hard to be a big company and not
say something,
because at the end of the day, like.
Yeah, you pretty much have to.
Yeah, the Supreme Court can do whatever they say they're doing up there and say they're upholding the Constitution or whatever. Fine. We can't. There's only so much we as people can do about that. But Apple ain't the Supreme Court. You are affected by the people, and the majority of people don't want this. The majority of people wanted this to be upheld and left alone, like it has been for like 50 years. So it's like, if you're Apple or Google or one of these companies, you don't got the wiggle room to do that. Yeah, there ain't shit we can do to the Supreme Court besides things we're legally not allowed to do. But, you know, yeah. So I'd be very shocked to see Apple just try to hide in the corner on this one and be like, yeah, we're just not going to say anything.
Yeah. Yeah. And to be fair, I mean, I don't know if what lengths these other companies went to let it be known. I know Google sent out an email, to their employees. They didn't tweet it or nothing like that. So for all we know.
Apple could have already launched something internally already. Yeah, that's very true too. Yeah, I get what you're saying. Yeah. 100%.
Might hear something Monday since this is a recent thing. Literally happened this weekend, right? On Friday.
Yeah, as they're compiling it now, so maybe somebody just hasn't got their hands on it yet or something, or like you said, maybe it just hasn't gone out yet as well too. It is still recent, like people are still. It's kind of unfortunate, but there are so many companies. The fact that so many were able to react quickly that's positive. That's positive. That means people were being a little more proactive, and they already had something in place in case this became an issue.
Yeah,
which is good. It seems like companies are putting money forward for it as well. So, I don't know how much everybody's willing to pledge and put up, or, I know you said, I can't remember who you said it was 4,000.
Amazon
is, stuff like that is good. But did you guys hear that?
Yeah,
I did.
Yeah. You gotta ghost my nigga.
That's wild.
The fuck?
But yeah, that's that. I know a lot of clinics are starting to embrace encrypted messages, according to NBC News. To help protect their clientele in the event that they are prosecuted. This is just wild, man.
It's a lot,
I
man.
can't even believe I'm reporting on this.
Yeah, everything is still. I don't even want to use the term. It is in some ways it is unprecedented, but in other ways, given the stuff that leaked out like over a month ago about the documents that they're in plans to do this and overturn it, all the companies having to respond to, all their employee base, the women and everything primarily, but just tired of these old people empowered and for life deciding shit. It's crazy.
I remember when it was brought up, and I can't say I didn't think it would come to pass, but to be here and experiencing it, it's kind of surreal.
Yeah. It's like the revert. It's like history, but the reverse feeling.
Yeah.
It is very strange.
Yeah, man. Yeah, it is crazy to see something like this actually happen. Like I was saying, like
we've seen a lot of shit in our lifetime.
Yeah,
we've seen a lot of shit in relatively short time.
Yeah, I don't know, man. It is interesting. I wonder if every era, whatever you want to call it, generation feels like this, right? Because like you just look through history and you think like you read about so much wild shit in history and you think to yourself, yo, we'll never go through any crazy shit like that. And then we do, but it's just like evolved, right? It's just like the today version of this crazy shit. Yeah, okay, yeah, maybe it's not people just showing up on the shores of a random country and taking it over anymore, but it's different ways that you're, affecting people on mass levels. And it's I don't know, it's weird, man.
What's wild to me is like you read in the history books and it would be like years that go by before you hear the next thing. I mean, we're reading it in the textbooks and it looks like it's happening consecutively, but it really is several years that go by between each event. But for us, I feel like within the span of like 3 years, so much shit went down.
Yeah.
Consecutively. It's just,
should I say 6, roughly?
Yeah.
It's almost
Indeed.
a little depressing, but
yeah.
Because if you really think about everything we've seen happen, it's not wild to like consider that we're just supposed to like keep going to work though and just like do your job and pay your bills. And like on one hand it's like, yeah, it makes sense because what else do we do, because that's all we know. But on the other hand, it's like clearly things are fucked up. Like there's got to be some other way we could do this, because clearly the current system isn't the best way. Like obviously there's some, or it needs to be tweaked or changed or something. Like, but no, we just gotta shuffle around, and everybody has to, and that's what it is, right? Because everybody just we can't fight to the solution because everybody has to worry about themselves.
Yeah,
which is understandable because that's the environment we have. But because of that, that's why they can get away with shit like this, because they know there's not enough of us willing to risk enough to make them feel any sort of threat or make them feel any sort of like heat for their actions. They're going to do it. We're going to complain. We're going to tweet. Some people might march a little here and there, but eventually it'll die over. And
yeah, there's some
people will say move to a state where it's legal.
Yeah.
People with money are just going to continue flying out to other countries and
like they've been doing and still living where they want to live.
Yep.
So
yeah,
it is what it is. Yeah, man. Is that's it for technically?
Yeah, that's it. That's all I got for you guys.
Bet. All right, man. Moving right into console tea. I don't have tea. I do have tea, but it's cold. So I'm just gonna drink this water instead.
There you go. Water is the base of all tea.
Okay. Can y'all hear my cat in the background still?
I don't even know.
Okay, perfect. All right, because he is going crazy. For console tea, all we've got today is talking a little bit about the new PlayStation Plus tiers. And I gotta be careful in how I say PlayStation because it's listening. Anyways, so I have the PlayStation Plus. I have PlayStation Plus Premium. For me, it was only $6 or $5.99 or $4.99 or something like that. It was like $6, I think. for me to upgrade because I only have 3 months of PlayStation Plus. I only had 3 months of PlayStation Plus. So to upgrade, mine was only like $6 or whatever. So I did it. I don't know how much I do not think that I will, just to come out the bat, I probably will not renew at the premium tier right now. Because the classic game section is just lacking. When I say it's there's just not enough there. There's not enough variety. There's not enough games that people actually want. The PS3 streaming stuff is a mess. I mean, unless you have fiber that you're running direct to your PS5, you're probably not having a fun time, man. So yeah, I think it's one of those things where, you know, eliminating money as any sort of factor, you try it out, because there might still be some games in here that you haven't had a chance to try, or that you would have maybe tried that you're just not going to spend the money on. So, you know, I think Returnal is a good option in there. You know, a game like Death Stranding is one of those games that had a lot of hype around it, got some interest. And, you know, the people that were super interested went and played it, and those that were on the fence probably didn't. It's included, you know, they included Assassin's Creed Valhalla and, you know, Miles Morales and stuff like that. So there's a lot of different options on there for games that you may or may not have picked up that you can pick up here. But if you're like a heavy PlayStation first gamer, there's not that much here. Like, I'm just jaded with Assassin's Creed, so that's why I don't own Valhalla. If Ubisoft hadn't just pissed me off, I would already own that. So that wouldn't be a thing for me. You know, but then you have really good ones like Ghost of Tsushima is on there. We were talking about that earlier, you know, how that's available. So like, you know, and then they do have game trials. We were talking about like Horizon, you can get the game trial. They have a couple of different ones. I think they have a trial for Hot Wheels right now, which I've been meaning to try.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they have Ollie World one, which I've been wanting to try. Because you got me into that.
I don't know how long it's supposed to be, but just jump in.
Yeah. So there's a couple cool ones in here that I want to try. Just to see what they're like. There's even a Cyberpunk trial.
Damn. They made sure to have that on there.
Yeah, let's do it in there. So, you know, little things that you can go in here and play with that I do think are cool. You know, you can still get your games on the basic tier or whatever, but I think the extra tier, I think is what it's called, if I remember correctly. I believe that is what I would say is probably the sweet spot for most people. Yeah, it's the extra tier. So Essential is your basic tier. And I think Extra is probably the real sweet spot for most people, because that's going to give you most of those games that people are looking for. The Demon's Souls, Spider-Man, 2K, Ghost of Tsushima, Red Dead Redemption 2 is on there. I will probably eventually play that as well, since I've just never wanted to give them the money. That game goes on sale all the time. So stuff like that, you know what I mean? Like there is some good here. We'll have to see moving forward what they do with like newer titles and how quickly they get there. I think that will be the mark of how much stuff is really worth, you know, but right now, like I say, if it's cheap for you to try it out, you might as well try it out. Maybe there's a game in there or something like that it might be a niche game that's just cool for you or something like that. So you might as well try it. But if you're going to be spending, you know, $80, $70 to upgrade for a year or 2 years or whatever it is, I don't think that's worth it at all. Because who knows where this goes in 2 years? You know,
hopefully better.
This whole thing. I would hope better, but I could also see Sony saying, people aren't investing in the premium tier. We're just going to cut it out, and we're going to have 2 tiers. And then, you know, I could see them restructuring it instead of just offering better shit. Especially if they feel like they're still ahead.
That'll be really annoying.
Yeah. What were you saying, Ian?
So that's what they did with PlayStation View, essentially.
Oh yeah. They kept raising the price and pricing people out and saying it was more and more and more. And I mean, maybe whatever deals they had were becoming more expensive, but then they basically just told us one day, "Hey guys, sorry, I know we had contracts and all this shit, but yeah, no, we're done."
And here goes YouTube TV.
Yeah.
You guys been asking for this to come.
Damn. Anyway, so here, fine. So they didn't want our shit. Sorry. And I could see them doing the same thing with this if it doesn't latch on, which right now it's not looking good. So we will see. Cool. Let's it is time for spoilers. Spoilers. Okay. Okay, I was just talking. Gerard, let's do Miss Marvel. Let's catch up on Miss Marvel first, and then we'll end with Obi-Wan. Give you guys time to get your ratings in order.
Miss Marvel. So as of this recording, we have 3 episodes out. We talked about the first episode 2 and 3. I'm going off memory here, so feel free to fill in the holes if there's anything. But episode 2 is primarily, Kamala kind of realizing, oh shoot, I have powers, and I think it's from this bangle that's on her wrist. And half of the episode is just her kind of having a little quick montage and trying to like go on rooftops and train on how to use the little crystallized platforms and kind of throw her hand and body out in like a stretchy format or things like that. And there's some other subplots in the episode as well. We kind of see a bit more of like her. I don't know if Nazia. I don't think her friend was introduced until this episode proper. I don't remember if she was in episode 1. But we get introduced to her from the school as well. So it's her, Bruno, and Nazia as well.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, we see them go to their place where they pray and everything, since they're Muslim. And it's cool to see that cultural, just see their culture. It's just another day, right? It's not like, oh, they're going to church or anything like that. It's just kind of like, they go, they show them like kind of changing the shoes out and everything, and praying and everything, doing the multiple vows and everything.
It is interesting. They touched on a cultural thing about the woman being behind the man and
right
conditions of the woman's side. And
I actually do like that they're pretty much being upfront with that, because that is that's a big thing in Muslim culture. It's very male dominant when it comes to like decision making and those in power. So yeah, I do appreciate them kind of going for that and kind of talking about it more and more. Yeah, but they're at the mosque, and they're saying they're sitting, they're behind the fence, pretty much like a fenced off part, and they can hear the main dude up there talking. And that's part of a subplot where they're like, man, there needs to be more changes here. And they heard there's some like elections for like some of the board and everything for their mosque. And Nazi is like, yeah, maybe I should run and try gather some vote for me, and we can make some proper changes around here for us women, just in general. Yeah, but that little subplot is interesting because we see it more where they have I think Eid Mubarak was in this too. Yeah, that Eid Mubarak in this too, which was cool. There's like a party where we get introduced to the other guy who Kamala has a crush on, and that whole thing kind of works so perfectly in her just for it, because it was like he invited them there to the party and they all went, and it was like, okay, cool, whatever. But he was like, they leave out because he gets busted. It's a high school party. There's alcohol. They even mentioned like, oh, it's like, what is this? Orange juice and vodka. And I was like, all right. Oh, that's crazy. But But yeah. So it's kind of most of this episode too is just her kind of getting used to these powers and it popping up like on her face, her hands in random places. We also hear of like she kind of is like at home. She has another one of her little moments where like she kind of passes out partially because like her parents, her brother, and her brother's fiance, who their wedding is in episode 3. We'll talk about that in a bit. But she like has the bangle on. She kind of sees like visions of like other people from their past. And she's kind of trying to understand, like, you know, what the deal is with his abilities. Like, is it coming from the bangle itself? Is it something within her? She was like asking her grandmother about it, and the grandmother is kind of being like, "Oh yeah, there is things here and there," but you know, kind of like that. I don't know. Sometimes when you ask your grandparents stuff, they'll like either they'll kind of dance around what you want to really know and kind of tell you other stories, or they won't be direct. And that's kind of her grandma was kind of doing the former, right? And it's like she was just trying to hear that, but not let her parents know because they know she doesn't want to expose her powers to them or anyone. The typical Peter Parker Spider-Man type shit, basically. But towards the end of the episode, as like towards the evening time at the Eid Mubarak ceremony, I'm sorry, there's this one kid who somehow found his way up the top one of the buildings. He climbed up there, whatever, on his own. And he was like, "Oh no, I'm at the top, I'm gonna fall." And everyone's like, "Oh no, whose nephew is this?" Whatever. And so she kind of does let me go get my makeshift Captain Marvel suit and run up there because like the end of episode 1, it went viral in the city, and she's being known as Nightlight, which is a hilariously goofy name because her powers just glow, and that's it. That's pretty funny. I don't know if that's accurate to the comic or not, but it's funny to me.
No, it's hilarious.
Okay. Yeah, so she goes up there and she actually attempts to save him, and she kind of does. Like she kind of crawls up there, is like, "Hey, you know, everything's gonna be fine, whatever." She's trying to like scale part of the building, and she gets up there. And then what she does, she kind of like uses her abilities to create steps to kind of climb up there and to kind of have him land there. And she's like, "Oh, everything's good, blah, blah, blah." But then like she starts to see the vision of, I think it's supposed to be her grandmother or great grandmother again, like in a portal towards her. And she kind of was like, whoa, she loses focus. And the platform that the kid was on before he could get on the building, that kind of dissipates. She's like, "Oh shoot." And he kind of actually falls down and hits like the car, which is wild. It wasn't far, like too high enough to where he would have gotten seriously hurt, but it was like, whoa.
He still managed to break his legs.
And she caught him a couple times on the way down.
She did. Yeah, so she definitely slowed down the descent. So obviously she's still getting the hang of things. Not perfect. We did see her trying, like, I guess it's for our listeners who are like looking at the abilities with like microscopes and seeing is it stretchy powers and this and the other. She does try and throw her hand with the crystallized stuff around it and stretch and grab him. So there's still some of that kind of comic accurate iteration of her ability. And so after that happens, she's like, "Oh shoot," when the kid falls in the car. So she kind of like runs across the buildings and is like, "Yo, I gotta get the heck out of here." And she goes to an alleyway. These 2 drones come out of nowhere, and it's the FBI people that we saw at the end of episode 1. They're trying to figure out who is this kid, who have these powers, what's going on. And so she basically just kind of, she throws like a fist with her power and just kind of runs over them all. They're like at the end of an alleyway, and she sees the one dude from the party. I can't remember his name, is unfortunately, but Kamran. There you go. Thank you. Yeah, Kamran. Kamran pulls up in the car, and she's like, "Oh, perfect. I'm glad you're here." He's like, "Yeah, get in." And then it's like, get in. All of a sudden, there's this other lady in the back seat, and it's like, "Who is that?" And then she's like, "Oh, good. We have a lot to explain to you." And that was a cliffhanger ending for the most part. So that's episode 2.
I will say, we were talking about the whole thing with like how much they showed of like the culture, and I think that's really cool. But it's also consistent, like the same way they did the thing, in Captain and Winter, Falcon and Winter Soldier, talking about the Black issues and stuff there. I would expect, I would expect to see those similar things represented when other cultures are being represented, because they've gone through their own things as well, whether that's with America or with other nations or whatever. Like they've got things. So I'm glad that that means they're keeping it up. So I would expect that to be kind of like a, ongoing thing. The more we see about Moon Knight, maybe we see more other things going on, in that part of Africa and stuff like that, in Egypt and whatever. So, there's just different things that could happen. So I did like that, they kind of kept that going, because I didn't know if they were just going to try to like Disneyfy everything, if that makes sense. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they're really select. Well, I guess maybe I'm not sure how much they say Marvel you can and cannot show this stuff, because it seems like half the time, if anything gets blocked or censored or whatever, it's when it releases in other countries outside.
Right. Yeah, it's not here.
Yeah, certain Asian territory, China, and South Asian countries. So but like over here, pretty much Western world, I'll say. They let them do their thing for the most part. I can't really think of too much that they let them do here, or at least stuff that seem obvious. Like, okay, they definitely toned it down.
Right.
But yeah, Disney is still very selective about that stuff. It's odd. It's definitely odd. But yeah, I appreciate it too, man. Like it like you said, it keeps it consistent. It keeps with the the theming. There's the Pakistani families. This is the Muslim culture, it's Pakistani culture. So we're seeing that with like the family interactions, the extended family interactions, that what they call it, the Illuminatis.
The Illuminati.
The Illuminatis.
That's a good name.
I actually, that gave me a good chuckle, because I was like, it's like the nosy aunties or whatever.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah, it's every culture got them.
Yep.
Yeah.
Cliquish and whatnot. So episode 2, it was also good, on par with 1, I would say, in my opinion, as far as keeping the flow of things going. Episode 3. It starts out with like it really starts out like a pretty much like a British owned India, like the partition type stuff going on. They're find a breakaway from British rule. And that's where we got to see the lady that was with Kamran, who's supposed to be his mother. She's actually from this time period. It's like 1942. I had to look it up real quick. It was 1942. And they're like in this temple looking for which is assumed to be the bangles. Yeah, because Kamala has the left bangle. And this flashback from years and years and years ago, it looks like it's the right bangle. Man, I'm looking at it right now just to remember. And they find like this pretty much a dead, this is corpse. And this other woman who's assumed to be Kamala's great grandmother. She finds it and she puts it on, and she kind of gets the ability where she sees like, she starts seeing like ancestral things and whatnot. And then when that happened, there's like a rumble, and the camera pans up because there's like a circle of light, and there's a passageway or opening, whatever, not passageway, opening. And they quickly pan the 10 Rings logo symbol on the ground. I don't really know what that's supposed to mean, except they've been in cahoots with what's going on with this temple or whatever. I guess I don't know what they're doing. I'm curious about that. That's the only thing they show for this episode, so maybe we'll get more of that later on. But it basically, this whole flashbacks to show that Kamala's great grandmother did have at least one of these over time, and other woman's name is Najima. Kamran's mom is Najima. She was just like, you need to get up out of here. Make sure you don't, get crushed and everything. And that's all we know from this cutscene, where I can recall. So, and then we get back to current time where Kamala's with them and their crew, Najima, Kamran, and some of the other folks who apparently all are the same age. We don't know exactly how or why. It's like either some of the magic or some other stuff going on.
Well, maybe you're just not there yet.
Yeah, we're just not there yet.
Yeah.
But yeah, basically try and break down, some of the historical stuff with that and what's going on. Mal has questions. Now some of this stuff I'm not too versed on, I'll be honest. But Najima said that like Kamala's considered a jinn.
Oh yeah. I mean, I was looking at it a little bit, and like,
I mean, I didn't do research after that.
only because I was curious, just like what the real life inspiration was. But like, if you just take it for like what they gave us in the episode, that kind of makes a bit more sense. And that's, well, I mean, I guess I don't know. I think they were saying, I won't jump too far ahead, but I think that 10 rings thing is letting us know that I think they come either where they come from is like in relation or something to the same place where Shang-Chi's family mom comes from, like something with not the same exact area, but remember she was saying like, oh, there's different places within this dimension, right? Like that where they were wasn't the only place. That's just where they were for Shang-Chi stuff. So there could be other places where, you know what I mean? Other places in that same dimension where other completely different things are happening. So I don't know if it means they're from the exact same one or if they're from like, you know, a different one or, you know, exactly how it works. But that's why that 10 rings thing, when you pointed that out to me, I was like, oh, I wonder if that's what they're trying to like say when you combine it with the part you'll get to later about them being from like a different dimension and all that shit.
Yeah.
Like that's why I was like, I feel like maybe they're trying to give us that little connection. I guess since they're not doing the whole Inhuman thing, you know, so instead they're doing you come from this dimension, and that might be their out for like a couple different types of characters whenever they're going to bring somebody in that they don't really have the structure for in their traditional sense. They can just kind of be like, oh, you come from this dimension. Yeah. Or you come from this. I mean, I guess they could say dimension or universe now, but yeah. I think in Kamala's case, it's dimension.
Yeah, I guess the only other thing I thought of, because I didn't really look up anything. The only thing because I rewound, whatever you want to call it, and I looked back at the floor because I saw 10 rings, 10 circles, and I was like, wait, are those just any other 10 rings? And I looked at it again, and I was like, oh, that's the 10 rings, legit. Only thing I thought of is like the bangle's like golden, and they have like purplish aura powers, and like the actual 10 rings, they also kind of sort of, at least when like they're on
Shang-Chi.
Yeah, Shang-Chi's, on his forearms and stuff. They're like kind of purple glowing. I mean, obviously when you throw them out, so they kind of have that orangey glow, or when his pops, they have the blue glow, but on his arm, they're purple. So I, whatever mystical energy that is, that's the only thing I was like, okay, they're both kind of purple. I don't know. I know MCU, they're doing a lot of like colors with power sources or abilities and stuff. So that's the only thing. But yeah, I mean, it could be very well could be, just doing the other dimensional thing. The group they call themselves is called the Clandestines. Clandestine. Right?
Clandestines.
Right?
We're fancy.
Yeah.
They're also vanished.
Well, right. So Kamala, she's kind of spooked by all that. She's like, oh, they called me a djinn. Like, what the hell? And she talked to Bruno about it. And I think Bruno was like, that doesn't make sense. I'm going to do research on it. And that's kind of his whole small thing through parts of the episode. So yeah, they kind of show the mosque again through part of it. And they show, is it Nazi? Have I been saying her name wrong the whole time? It's Nakia.
Oh, it is. It's definitely Nakia.
Nakia.
Yeah. And you know what? As you've been saying it, I've been trying to figure out, but I was like, no, maybe I didn't know how to pronounce it, so I just kind of.
Yeah, I kind of took.
I roll with it.
Yeah.
I roll.
But like in Black, I mean, obviously there's.
But now that you're saying it, I'm like, that's what she said in the episode.
Isn't Lupita's character from Black Panther named Nakia as well? Isn't her name, or is it?
No, it's Nakia. Is it Nakia or is it Nakia?
Nakia. Yeah, like pronunciation wise, Nakia. I think that's why I kept thinking, is this also her name?
Yeah, I see what you mean. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I think. That's why I'm kind of.
I think it's the way they're. I think it's just how they pronounce.
Yeah.
They're spelled the exact.
Or we're idiots. I don't know.
Yeah, they're spelled the same.
I'll be cultured for the next one. but yeah, Nakia here in Miss Marvel, we see her more for efforts trying to get people, get everyone to kind of vote for her to become, I guess, in the council.
Board member.
Yeah. And she does get it after a amount of time. But she's kind of like, I don't like this nightlight person. It kind of brings in that kind of like, I'm seeing the parallels of like Peter Parker and like the Harry Osborn stuff. Like, oh man, this Spider-Man dude, I don't like him, bro. And she's like, and they're like, oh, well, I mean, what don't you like about him? Yeah. But yeah, she kind of developing some beef against Nightlight because of how folks in the community and like the mosque are viewing it, and everything like that. It's attention,
law enforcement,
more spotlight on them and shit.
Yeah. More than
they're already receiving.
Exactly. I did like when Buddy told her, next time you come, take off your shoes.
Yeah,
right.
Your shoes off next time you come here. Show some respect. Facts. I think just because you're the police, you ain't gotta. If you don't want to take your shoes off, you can wait outside. Talk to you when we done.
I'll meet you out there.
Yeah, word. Yeah, I liked it.
Yeah. So yeah, good portion of this episode till towards the end with the actual wedding, which was pretty cool. Another
that was dope.
That was dope. Look fun.
Little dance scene and everything was dope.
Yeah. It seems Kamala's kind of I feel like she's kind of struggling with like the whole like this is much bigger than me type situation. Like she was like, I'm fangirling for all the superhero stuff, but now it's something completely different, and it's like it seems to be a lot heavier, and she just kind of wants answers. So she's been talking to some folks. She really talks to her dad about kind of like asking like, she talked to her mom, she talked to her dad about like how to handle when things feel too insurmountable or that type of a deal, and they kind of give the best parental advice they can. So yeah, it's kind of with that as well. Other things with this too. Bruno, he works at the convenience store, and he's like on the side doing research on Jin. And Kamal's dad comes in. He's like, "Yo, I'm trying to get me them Hostess pies." You know what I'm saying? Nah, my wifey ain't trying to know.
He was buying crack, boy. He was down there. You just thought he was getting some good drugs. He was acting about
I need me a cherry pie on the low.
Man.
Just pay with cash, not on the car, just cash.
Yeah. Can't have no trace. No trace.
It's better than Reese's cups.
Facts. Ian.
Sorry.
Ian.
Not sorry.
Not sorry at all. Fake apology ass nigga. This nigga gonna say Reese's cups.
Oh man!
Imagine having to lie to your wife about buying a Hostess pie. Like, yo, my nigga. hey, fam.
Oh man.
Hey, fam.
He's out. I ain't buy these.
I'm gonna need y'all not to get to that point.
Not to receive.
Never in my life. I'm lying about the snacks I'm eating. I'm gonna eat these bad snacks from you right in front of your face.
Walk in with the bag, the pie on top of everything else.
Facts.
The first thing you see. Oh man, but yeah, the whole gist of that scene is like Kamal's dad knows, like, oh hey Bruno, you're reading up on Jin stuff. That's different. And he's like, no, not really. He's trying to brush it off, and he's like, no, let's look at it. I can give you some information about it. And he kind of gives like this Cliff Notes summary of like the mythical things about the Jins and everything. And basically they're like another dimensional type. They're supposedly from another dimension. They're always looking for a certain power to kind of go back to their home. And then Bruno was like, whoa, thank you for telling me that. I should probably tell Kamala, but I'm not telling you. I'm gonna tell Kamala because then I'll expose that she got powers. And so yeah. So he kind of tells her bits of it. She's just like, yeah, that's kind of different. That's kind of weird. So we kind of fast forward to the wedding. Fun dance numbers and everything. It was really cool.
Vibrant.
Very vibrant. Yeah, that's one other thing about this show. I don't think I said since the first one. I just like how colorful everything is. It's good. It's visually pleasing for the eyes. They had this cover band called Brown Jovi. I think it was okay for me to laugh at that. But then yeah. And then we kind of see Kamran. He's kind of looking for Kamala because he's like, yo, they're about to try and take you out. Like, I'm trying to, because I kind of care for you in a high school type tip. But Mom and them, the clandestines trying to take you out. We got to clear everyone out to this wedding. And she's like, the hell are you talking about? And then so Kamala's like, she kind of does this hasty thing where she just kind of does a classic pull the fire alarm and it sounds and everyone just kind of runs out. It's pretty obvious she did it. Like, it's plain sight. It's not like around the corner. It's like right there on the side. Boom, she did it. And then as that happens, she tries to like escape through the back, go through the kitchen. But some of the clandestine people come through with their little martial arts moves. And she like, the fuck? So she's kind of maneuvering through that, trying to escape them, including Kamran's mom. Yeah. And so they basically go back to the middle room area. Everyone else outside. Kamala's parents like, Bruno, where's Kamala? It's like, why isn't she here? And he just like, yeah. I don't know. But we do see her fight a little bit here. She does a couple of like stretchy arm things. So there we go. More stretchy arm things reminiscent of the comics. In addition to her other stuff, she does a lot of like creating crystallized shields and stuff. Yeah. It's interesting. But yeah, and Bruno tries to come back and throw stuff at some of them. They're like fighting with like this type of a cord or something. It's not like not a ball and chain, but it's like something else. They fight some more, and this was super convenient, by the way. One of the most convenient getaways I've seen. They like managed to go through the front, and as soon as they get to the front, they're surrounded by all the clandestine folks. FBI come through. They're like, oh, good, we're gonna arrest all these clandestine people. And then right. Clutch. Absolutely perfect.
Slid through the back door.
Yep. Her and Bruno slide through the back door. She's like kind of carrying him. And what she does, she kind of does a force field thing on the door to kind of keep it in place, lock it. And as soon as she doesn't turn around, Naki walks up because she's like, what the hell? It's like your nightlight or whatever. And she's kind of shook. And she's like, we can't talk about this now. We just need to please get Bruno somewhere. We got to get up out of here. And so that's kind of doing the whole, oh no, a friend that doesn't really approve of the superhero type alter ego now knows. But I'm kind of glad we got knocked out in this same episode, though. Not gonna lie, kind of was hoping they weren't gonna stretch it out for the next thing. But yeah, so she gets home. Her parents are like, "What the fuck, Kamala?" Basically, what the fuck? All this weird just happened. What's going on? And so she kind of goes up to her room and kind of just mulls there, and I think she talks to her grandmother again. Oh yeah, shout out to her grandmother, and she was like, "Oh, it's like, yeah, we need to go to this certain area." And she's like, "What? Like, what are you talking about?" And basically, it's like Karachi. Yes, she's like, "Oh, we need to go to Karachi," and it's like she's like in tune with her abilities as well. So her grandmother knows more, and I mean, we know she knows more since episode 2, but we've been kind of getting bits and pieces. So I don't know how she's going to go to Karachi. Maybe it's going to be a dimensional thing, portal of some sort, transport. But I think in episode 4, we're going to get more answers on that. So, and she was like, yeah, you need to come to Karachi, which I'm guessing that's where her grandmother is at, actually. So, yeah, I think we'll get a little more about her abilities, the source of it. And, yeah, just kind of get, go forward to the next arc of the show, I guess. The second half, really.
Yeah.
So yeah. So yeah, that's episode 3. A little hit and miss in some parts, but it's still overall good. None too really big to complain about. Just some little pacing here and there, but yeah, overall, still 3 for 3 for me.
I think the pacing is definitely a issue for me, especially with how the clandestine kind of just went off.
Right. That felt somewhat rushed.
Just ramped it up really quick. They went from we'll save you and hey, quick. We just need you to help us to nope, can't have any more time. Got to do it today.
Yeah, like
yo, I don't even know what to do. Right. And the thing that I think to do might blow up the planet. So can you just maybe give me some time? Nah. Or we're gonna kill you.
We need you now. Yeah, we waited too long. It's too like. Wait a second. You literally just told her not even yesterday.
Yeah,
a few hours ago. Yesterday. Like, chill out, yo.
But now they're this close to the Bengal, I guess. I mean, see, I always try to think like, would would I give it more grace if it was animated? And things like that I probably would give more grace. But things that confuse me are things like you said, the Jinn went from 0 to 100 really quick on Kamala, and they were walking into that wedding willing to kill everybody in there to get to her. But then when the cops come in, all of a sudden they have no fight; they just get arrested.
Yeah, like
they don't
that.
Fight the cops at all.
They had some super guns. The cops. I don't know what those guns had in them, but
yeah, I'm not sure about the cops. I'm not really sure about who they.
Yeah. Maybe it was like a special.
Yeah, special
force or something.
What was the special force in Spider-Man?
Well, which one? Talking Silver Sable?
One of them. I know there was a group of them that had like special weapons that
Oh, you mean in the game like AIM?
AIM, yeah.
Yeah, AIM was around, yeah.
Got you, yeah. Okay. I didn't even clock that. You're right. It probably wasn't the FBI. It was whatever special task force. They probably had some special weapon, I guess, that maybe they just didn't want to fight against or something, I guess. But it was something to the point that I just didn't think that made any sense, that they walked in there willing to kill a bunch of innocent people just to get to Kamala, but then they're not willing to fight off the law enforcement. But yeah, I mean, I thought that was weird. And then her mom at the end being like, oh, who were those people you were with, Kamala? Like, you mean the people that were attacking me? Those people, Mom? Like, you didn't
right.
They were the ops, Mom.
They were the ops, for real. They were the ops.
Yeah. And then I wonder if her mom saw the train too, like, or if she is like it's like a Obi-Wan situation where she's so like traumatized by it, she cut herself off from it, that maybe she's not seeing the same visions that like Kamala and her grandmother can see, or great grandmother, whoever it was, that can see it and stuff like that.
Her mom definitely. I mean, it's come down the line, right? Like her great grandmother. Grandmother. We were about to hear about it probably in episode 4. When her mom brought the stuff in on episode 1, and she, Miles, oh, what's this? And she was quick to be like, no, that's going to act.
Yeah, I was about to say, she definitely knew something about it at least.
So she probably don't even like that side of the family, or that magical side of stuff.
Why even have them here? But again, I guess that's just another like convenient thing. Like, it happens. Like, it'd be one thing if it was like, oh, this has been here for years because we brought it with us from India and it's just been sitting up here and she uncovered it. But it got mailed to you specifically right after you turn 16, trying to get your license and everything, right? Like, it's just very convenient. Like, clearly her grandmother. So I think
was it mailed from Karachi?
I don't remember if it came from Karachi exactly, but it came from her grandmother, right? So because she was asking Kamala, did you get the gifts I sent? Did you get everything? So yeah, I don't know, man. Part of me, oh shit, sorry, my headphones came out. Whoops. Part of me is confused by that. And the one question that Kamala never asked, why were you guys exiled? Because even if she thinks they're good people or whatever, she was told by Kamran's mom specifically, like, yeah, we were exiled from our dimension. And maybe she thinks they're all good, but you are all exiled, including her ancestor, including her grandmother or great grandmother. So why wasn't she more curious about why they were kicked out of their home in the first place instead of just being? I mean, I guess part of it is like, she's 16, she's caught up, she's got these superhero fantasies, and now all of a sudden she's got powers. So you got to give her some grace. So I don't want to be like overly critical, but like, that would have been probably one of my first questions. Like, well, what did y'all do? Like, why did y'all get exiled? And it just didn't. It seemed like a natural question to ask there, and she didn't ask it. So I just thought that was weird. Like, it just felt like a weird way to not hold the story back, but just hold back certain information from us until whenever they decide it's a better time to give it to us, even though they gave us a scene where that would have been the perfect time to ask the question because they just told you the information. Like,
Exactly.
I don't know.
She wasn't like resisting. Like, she didn't say no to their request. She didn't say, I'll think about it.
Yeah, no, she said, yeah, I want to help you. We just want to find a safe way to do it.
Yeah.
But they decided that meant she'd ops.
That whole last scene felt unwarranted.
Yeah.
Unfounded. Anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I actually think that explanation scene might have been something they added later. I could be talking about my ass here. I don't know shit about shit. But it feels like something that they might have added in like later on, just because they did the whole thing of, it felt like a catch-up section. It felt like, oh damn, we might have took too long to get them all the information. So we're just gonna kind of put this scene where, because that's why it feels so out of place. Because we would have assumed, because I don't remember if you were talking about it earlier, Gerard, but the lady that she was seeing in the vision was Kamran's mom, right? For whatever reason we don't understand yet, right? So he was seeing her, or she was seeing her in those visions and whatever they were, dreams and stuff like that. So we already had like an idea that she might be evil or something like that. So to just make her kind of randomly show up with Kamran, okay, maybe that makes a little bit of sense. When you go back with all these people, all of them weren't necessarily fighters initially, but I guess maybe you could say they've all turned into them. They don't age, I guess, because they come from that other dimension. But now you don't know. Now they're just explaining their whole arc randomly to this girl, and then expecting her to take this information that they know is new to her, know that she doesn't understand, and expect her to solve their problem in one day, something that they haven't been able to solve in whatever it's been, 40, 50, 60 years. It's kind of crazy. It
50, definitely is.
Yeah. So it's kind of wild. Like, it doesn't really add up to me. So yeah, I don't know. Some of the decisions they've made just feel a little bit too, like, I guess maybe like I said, convenient, or like they're just there to move the plot along. But I do still think it's interesting, and I think at the end they might clear up a bit of it and bring some of it back around to where it's, it's not so glaring, some of the questions you have. But we'll see. I think we're just, I don't want us to become a broken record, but I think we'll still end up in the same place with a lot of these 6-episode series and stuff like that. Like, we're just going to end up
for sure
feeling like, oh, they could have done a little more to make this feel a little better and make us understand this a little more, flesh this out. So
for sure,
that is what it is, man. Cool. All right, man. Let's end this off with Obi-Wan Kenobi, the end of it. I don't even know. I think we're episodes 5 and 6 is where we'd be, right?
Yeah.
Okay, man. Again, y'all talk to me, man. Tell me your thoughts on these final 2 episodes, some of these decisions, how the story concluded, or temporarily concluded. Maybe we'll talk about that as well. But yeah, how are y'all feeling? How did you? Yeah, how the episode? I'm only laughing because I know.
I was thinking of.
I'm trying to figure out a way to ask the question that doesn't sound like I know your answers, but I really can't. I'm not gonna lie. No, we didn't like this shit, bro. And it sucks because we all like Obi-Wan, but man.
Well, okay. So what was it? 5? Episode 5.
5 and 6 were the better episodes.
Yeah,
for sure.
I will say that. I did like the opening scene where Obi-Wan and Skywalker are fighting.
Yeah. Oh, that was dope. Yeah.
Or sparring.
That was cool. Nice little.
Yeah.
Felt comfy. Throwback.
Yeah, nice little throwback. That was nice.
And that was a nice thing from the weave back and forth between the current day and them.
Yeah, I like
playing the little kind of chess game with each other and all that.
I love how they did that. Yeah, and explaining on both sides how each other think, like how they have the level of understanding they have for one another. That was cool to see. Of course, Obi-Wan is just better at it than he is, as we eventually see. But beyond that,
it's a show of moments. There are cool moments throughout this whole show. There are great moments throughout the show. There's beautiful visuals throughout this show.
Yep.
As an overall show, just a lot of nothing happened, which I guess it's kind of our own faults for expecting something to happen, because at the end of the day, they involved a lot of characters who could only be affected so much. So a lot of them couldn't die. or be misplaced for too long or whatever. Like, so a lot of it just never made any sense. You know, and instead of it feeling like a twist, they just come out feeling like gotcha moments. You know, Reva being given the Grand Inquisitor title. Well, we knew that didn't make any sense. So the question was always going to be either are they breaking the canon or this isn't going to last that long. And we were right. It didn't last that long. I actually would have been more down for them to change the canon, piss off the Star Wars fanboys online, send them into a frenzy and say, yeah, fuck it. We're just changing it because we feel like it. It's not actually canon until it's in live action. Star Wars has always said that. Why is it different now? Just because you liked the animated version? If they want to change it now, they can change it. They didn't. I don't know, man. A lot of great things. It's just narrative choices throughout this whole show really hold it back.
The writing
is poor.
Poor.
I'm just gonna rip the Band-Aid off.
That was generous.
It's not very good.
Generous, just to call it poor, I would say. That
very, very bad. Abysmal. Lacking.
That man.
Subpar. All right.
And they tried to, I really feel bad for Reva, man.
I do too, man. That's really
Moises Ingram. Shout out Moises Ingram.
Well, I did hear that this doesn't have to do with Star Wars, but she is getting the role in this Apple TV show, so that's good.
Oh, really?
She's still getting work.
Okay.
Yeah, like a season 3 of the show.
This didn't affect her ability to get jobs out there.
That was the one thing.
Well, it shouldn't. I think we can all see it's writing. Anybody with a brain can see it's writing and not acting.
Yeah, but
it's not often the thing that people can just see like that. It's not some people do misinterpret someone's acting ability because of
because of bad writing.
Mm-hmm.
I get it. Yeah, you're right. You're 100%.
And then you end up seeing them in something else, and you're like, "Oh wow, they're so good in this." Where was this performance? And you're like,
"It's like, well, I couldn't give that performance because my writing was terrible."
The best I could with what I had.
Yeah,
have a lot.
That's it.
Yeah, I do get that. I don't know. Still being said, the show felt like a letdown. Even the fight with Vader and Obi-Wan, as much as shit was happening, it never felt like there were any real stakes because you knew neither of them could die.
Yeah.
So as cool as the scene looked,
yeah, you knew what was going to happen before.
You knew that somehow they were both going to be able to walk out of here. Don't know how, don't know what'll make it work, but somehow they're both getting away from here because neither of them can die right now. So it becomes anticlimactic instead of like a twist or he got away, or it just becomes like, oh yeah, okay. Oh yeah, he didn't. Of course he didn't die. Of course, there's nothing felt permanent. We talked about how everybody just gets stabbed in the chest and that's apparently, or in the stomach, and that's fine. We can just, and a lot of it is, and it sucks because I really like Obi-Wan as a character. And I really, when this was billed as a movie initially, I was really high on it. Like I was really, really in the belief that this was going to be great.
Yeah, the trailers were great too. They played the favorite theme. I never remember the name, but they played the actual theme.
Oh, Duel of Fates.
Yeah. So they were hitting all the right notes, both nostalgia and like hype inducing. So
they did all the right buildup, and then it's just we get here and the story is just so lackluster. And it's unfortunate because there's so many different ways they could have taken the Obi-Wan, story during this time period where you could have still had the Vader cameos and a couple other cameos from, known characters and recognizable characters, while also not making it so tied in to the original canon that it feels narratively locked in. Like there's only so much wiggle room here. So it didn't feel like we were getting a new story. It felt like we were filling in small little cracks that were left in. Like it's almost like if there was a book and just a couple random pages were left blank in between random, you know what I mean? And then you just have to fill it in yourself. That's what it felt like. It didn't feel like we were writing a new book. It felt like we were filling in somebody else's book with blank pages. And it just
It almost feels like
that's a good way to put it.
Almost feels like somebody got the project that was already completed, and then we're told to turn it into a show.
Right.
Release the movie cut, goddammit.
The theatrical cut.
It might be better that way. And I heard apparently Reva was originally supposed to die, but because they've been talking about this whole season 2 and whatever, they basically, which makes the next blooper will go into make more sense. Them deciding last minute that we don't actually want to kill Reva in case we want to do a season 2 now makes more sense why she randomly decided to chase and threaten to kill Luke, even though Luke had nothing to do with anything at that point in time to her or to anybody, because Vader doesn't know that's his son. She doesn't know that's Vader's son. Yeah, she knows Vader's Anakin, but that's it. She doesn't know anything else. So,
man,
it was literally a plot device, and it sucks because I understand a show needing to use a plot device to move things along, and I can respect it when it's done well. I might downright love it. Might become one of my favorite scenes if it's done well, but when it's done that poorly, it really kind of ruins your experience with it, right? Like, you're just like, man, this shit is telegraphed. And they just did this throughout the whole series. Why was she going after Luke? To the point where she chased him off this mountain and all, like, for what?
It seems so
just to then not do nothing and then just give him back anyway.
It was so nonsensical.
Do all this, then at least kill the kid. Like, but you can't do that because Luke Skywalker.
You literally can't. Yeah, so that'll just destroy everything.
We're gonna make it, and that's why it had to be a last minute ad. That's why I fully believe it was a last minute ad with reshoots, because what we need to save Reva. What can we do? Let's put her in a situation where there's no way Obi-Wan can get there in time before she's clearly remorseful. We'll send her after a character that literally cannot die. So there's nothing that she can do to him that would affect anything or make the audience think anything's wrong. And then we can use him to give her this redemption arc of, oh, I spared him. No, you didn't. Luke Skywalker was going to live whether Reva, you see what I'm saying? They've created their own time paradox, whatever. It's just Reva didn't exist until after Luke Skywalker already did all this shit. So to now make it seem like Reva somehow spared Luke and allowed him to go on is just ridiculous. And yeah, and it's all just to give us a chance to know, because now Obi-Wan also just lets her go free after everything she's caused and done. I maybe I can understand a little bit from Obi-Wan, but you're not even gonna like take her lightsabers or nothing. Like, you just gonna let her go out there.
She dropped it and left. She dropped it in the sand.
Man, she got another one in the tuck, man, from a Jedi she killed or something, bro. Nah, I'm cool. I'm taking all your weapons. Go out there and fend for yourself like the rest of these folks, man. Go cut some meat.
Cut some meat.
Do what I was doing there. My man's over there.
Spare one for your camel.
Go speak to my man Tony over there. I'll tell him look out for Reva. He gonna put you on the line. You gonna start getting paid in 2 weeks. First one gonna be a paper check though, no direct deposit. Like no,
really good. 27 years.
Facts. 27 years, man, might get you 2 pencils.
Might.
27 years might get you 2 pencils if you're lucky, but you hang in there.
Or even 2 pens. I still can't believe that shit, man. Oh, that's a crazy. That man is the wild west. But
anyway, bad writing. It just
play a plague of it.
Which is strange because I guess the biggest thing that really threw me is that they did it right with so many of their other shows.
Yeah,
that you would expect.
Yeah, like who did this?
Would have been on par. Yeah,
yeah.
And even Boba Fett was a little shaky, but it never got this bad.
Yeah.
So I'm very confused on what the goal was with this, or where they were going, or how they ended up here. But
well, I mean, ultimately, Boba Fett and Mandalorian, they had the same kind of plot elements, writing styles were similar.
Well, yeah, it was easier for Boba Fett because they were connected. So, okay, well, they made a couple weird choices we may or may not have liked, but then the overall style and theme felt familiar and we were comfortable, so it was cool. This was different, and they made some weird decisions.
Yeah.
Forget the canon, just weird narrative decisions for this show specifically, and now here we are. So yeah, it's not great, man. Not great.
They definitely shine the most when they are able to deviate, or not deviate, but like not talk about
the canon.
The canon, yeah. That seems to be the case.
Yes. Yeah, I don't even. I mean, but how long have I been saying get away from the Skywalker? Star Wars is it. Star Wars could have been doing what Marvel's doing now years ago if they had the balls to step away from this main person. They could have expanded away from the Skywalkers years ago. They have the ability. It is an open universe where, bro, come on, man. And it's and there's not enough. I mean, at the time, yes, there's Star Wars comics, but the Star Wars canon doesn't work that way. So the comics aren't the canon for characters. You can create whoever you want. It's an open universe. Galaxy far, far away. You can create whoever you want. You can make up whatever factions of this and factions of that, and still keep the core basics of Jedis and Sith and all that together in the Force. You could still have that, and they could have been expanded. It's only now that they've realized it took Marvel to do this for them to go, oh shit, we could do this. Same thing with Warner Brothers and DC. Oh shit, oh fuck, maybe we should have tried to do a big thing. I didn't realize people would actually watch us for 10 years at the theater.
Right.
Idiots. So yeah, I mean, I'm not. I don't know. I'm not overly surprised by it. So, maybe they'll give this another spin in the future, or work them into something else that makes it we can really enjoy the Obi-Wan character without all the flaws.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and Reva as well. I'm hoping they bring Reva back somewhere else where she can really shine and showcase her story and her rise or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
But my fear is it would be like a 3-episode miniseries, and then that's not enough. Like she could a story just on Reva could have been 6 episodes, showing her how she escaped and how she got out of Order 66 and where she survived and how she kind of snuck her way back into the Sith Order and how she built her way up and the struggle she went through when she had to kill her first Jedi and all this different type of shit that she would have went through. That could have been a cool 6-series episode. But instead, you made the main Obi-Wan thing 6 seasons while trying to introduce us to these new characters, and it's just a mess now. And yeah, this is the shit we get. So yeah, I don't know. Ratings. Unless y'all got any other thoughts, my bad.
The lightsaber fights were, they're decent. I'll give him that. The final, I don't think we really touched on, but the final fight, Obi-Wan and Darth Vader on that planet, I think it was cool. Saw some more Force stuff. It did look good. It was it did look good. The nice contrast of being nighttime. You see the blue versus the red. It's iconic.
The rocks, already know all that. It looked dope.
It looked good. Other than that, man, everything else, I don't know. Mostly feel like a waste of time of a show for the most part. Reva again, another. I haven't seen people of our complexion do characters getting the short end of the stick because of poor writing and poor decision making. 4 out of 10.
4.
Yeah, I was gonna say not quite Aquaman out of 10, but
not that low, but
not that low.
Not that.
The fan service and the lightsaber battles definitely puts it a peg above. I might say 3.5, man.
Wow.
I might.
He's want to be lower than me. I see.
I just kind of want to do
the petty rating. Extra petty in it.
Yeah. He said 3.5. I'm sure I said 3.95.
All right.
Goddamn.
3.49. Goddamn.
Change your mind, nigga.
Oh man.
Okay. I despite me being the Star Wars fan, I also don't give a fuck about the Skywalker canon. I'm also pretty bold in that as well. So I still found a lot of enjoyment out of some of the moments in this shit, even if some of them didn't make any sense. I thought it was cool that all the marketing really led us to believe that it was going to be Obi-Wan doing stuff with Luke mostly, and kind of that time period and or what he was kind of going over that. But instead, it really ended up being this whole, another Mandalorian type story, but with Leia. Visuals were great. Some of the music was great. Obi-Wan theme is dope. So 6 out of 10. It's not the worst Star Wars ever. It's nowhere near the best. It's nowhere near a lot of the animated stuff in like the Rogue Ones and stuff like that. But it's not terrible. It was cool. I think the most part is it's disappointing. It just doesn't really do what you'd expect from a series titled Obi-Wan Kenobi, like one of the greatest Jedi. He's like a big name, and you can tell they just didn't get the same effort. And you just don't think if they named a series Skywalker anything that you would see such a lack of effort. Maybe you might not like every decision they make, but I don't think you'd see a lack of effort. This feels like there was just a bit of a lack of effort. And that sucks because Ewan McGregor, I think he was like a producer, executive director on this, as well as Hayden Christensen. So they were involved in a lot of the process and coming up with the story. And yeah, it wasn't great. It wasn't great. Felt like, yeah. And maybe that's because they were, narratively locked into a time period. But they've also talked about wanting to do a season 2, and I just don't understand where the fuck they think they could go from here with as narratively locked as they are already. That doesn't just kind of retread over the same shit. But Ewan McGregor and Hayden Christensen have both come out and said they want to do a season 2. They want to continue with the character. I think you can continue with the characters. It doesn't need to be a season 2 of Obi-Wan Kenobi, and you can do something else where the characters are separate and doing things that reference each other or something, or maybe every now and again they end up close, but not a season 2 of this, please.
I think you can get a season 2. It just has to involve less of the whole back and forth between Obi-Wan and Vader.
Yeah.
Let it be about Obi-Wan and Luke.
Or just Obi-Wan,
or just Obi-Wan.
The Obi-Wan
this
doing
whole
his own
series. Thing. See, I think the thing that they're missing is they think every series has to be this like big action-packed adventure. And while obviously that is dope and a lot of neutral people may want to see that, I think if you're naming something Obi-Wan Kenobi, you can lean more into people that maybe understand a bit of the source material. Because the name Obi-Wan Kenobi is not going to trigger some random person to come watch this, right? Like, they would still need to be incentivized by a friend, by somebody else telling them it's good, by boredom. Like, something would have to make them want to watch this. It wouldn't just be, oh, I saw the name Obi-Wan Kenobi and I know that name, so I have to go check that out. No, if you're not into Star Wars, why the fuck would you care? So why give us this thing where you're making things happen that the fans of the series would say that doesn't make sense? Like, they could have given us Obi-Wan, figuring out his connection with Qui-Gon. They could have given us Obi-Wan relearning some of his Force abilities and practicing his techniques and getting himself back in shape because he's caught wind of Vader, sniffing around the galaxy or whatever, and learned that he could be Anakin. They could have just done a lot of different things with the character that would have made this series different, but also like engaging and informative and interesting, without just relying on fan service, lightsabers, Obi-Wan versus Darth Vader. Yes, that's cool. Did I need to see it here? No. Would I have preferred to see it in like a really cool Vision season 2?
Maybe even like, oh yeah, that'd be interesting.
That would have been dope because we know the Vision stuff isn't canon. So fuck it, do whatever you want there, right? Then no one's arguing about, does this make sense? And da-da-da-da-da. No one's having any discussion about that because it's just in Visions. It's a really cool fight between, an animated character that now probably looks a little more like Ewan McGregor, and then, a Vader that, may look a little like Hayden Christensen or whatever, that type shit. Like, that would be a dope episode for that. But to put it here in live action, it never felt like there were real stakes, and that reduces some of the experience of the series. Because, yeah. And even some of the people that could have died still didn't. So it's just like, all right. Yeah. So what happened here? Basically a lot of nothing. And it's fucked up because you know what happened? Rogue One is the exact same thing. They're filling in space that was already filled by kind of just assumed knowledge. We kind of assumed that this was kind of happening. They got the codes here and they got it to and we moved on, right? But Rogue One did such an amazing job of filling that in and creating a new story. And then it's just like at the end, it's like, oh yeah, this does connect. Oh, you almost like forget. But they didn't do that with this. And it just leaves you feeling empty, like we just watch them go in a circle where we kind of end up where we begin, and then nothing happens. Like Obi-Wan has the opportunity to literally save the galaxy from the wrath of Darth Vader and just chooses not to because he's decided that he's not really Anakin. Shouldn't that just be more reason for him to kill him? But he just doesn't. He just walks away.
Yeah, I think that's where my low score comes in. Like, the writing really fucked this show up, man. Yeah. And it did ultimately feel like a waste of time.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, that sucks, man. That sucks. Yeah, man. Well,
like what did we gain?
No, nothing. You gain no new Star Wars knowledge. There's no like interesting canon that they exposed here or tied in. Nothing.
Yeah.
Nothing at all. Yeah.
No,
yeah. It was just a show we watched and we got to see some flashy lights. My bad, Ian. What were you saying?
So now we know that Luke almost caught an L.
Yeah.
Right.
That apparently Obi-Wan was capable of taking out Darth Vader if he wanted to.
If he wanted to at any time. Could have smoked this nigga. But nah, fuck the galaxy. Fuck them. Fuck all them other kids. Just not these two kids. Fuck them kids. Just not these two. Yeah, I don't know, man. What do I know? Yeah, just hire me for the next season, and I won't write anything, but I'll just tell y'all when y'all doing some bullshit. Like, hey guys, that's some bullshit. Yes, don't do that. That ain't it.
Forward with that? Okay, I just want to let you know. That's some bullshit.
That ain't it. That's not gonna set him off. So yeah, man. Appreciate y'all for the reviews. Let us know what y'all thought about Obi-Wan. I mean, I'm assuming most people who are fans of the source material probably in the same boat as us, but maybe you really enjoyed it. Maybe you really, really loved it. I'd be interested to hear your takes on it. So yeah, man, hop in them comments, let us know. Appreciate y'all for listening. We're back on track by the time you heard this now. So we appreciate y'all for jumping back in those episodes and liking it on YouTube and wherever else we posted in, listening and downloading. So we appreciate that. Gave you a bunch of content to get through your week. So yeah, man, like, share, comment, subscribe. Most importantly, enjoy. It's been two ugly nerds, but there's three of us. Peace.
Peace.
Later.